The dopest motherfucker alive. Whoa, I gotta be the dopest motherfucker alive. Whoa, good God, I'm so great. When I walk, the whole earth shakes. I'm like,
folks, welcome back. Next bus, please. MVP Live Show. I'm your host, your boy Blunt. And it is a beautiful rainy day this Monday, July 6th. And I'm happy that you're here with me. You guys want anything from the store? All five of you guys? I got you. So, the line has been drawn in the sand by MTA. We now know what the demands are, and they are not pretty, as to be expected. Honestly, I thought they would come a little bit easier than what they have come to now. I don't know if that came out right. I just thought they'd be a little bit easier, being what happened with the Long Island Railroad that went on strike. But some things have come to fruition that we have been speaking about for a while now. But what up, AV was good. I'm going to let you hear it from the man himself, because that's how I like to roll. So brace yourselves. I'm looking very much forward to hearing your opinion on this. Check this out. Okay. Where is it? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong spot. I am looking at the wrong spot. Check this out, y'all.
Brothers and sisters, this is your President, John Chiarello. I bring you greetings ahead of the July 4th weekend, marking the 250th anniversary of the ratification of the Declaration of Independence. We're in a war of our own. We've been without a contract for 2 months, and I bring you a long-awaited update. Brace yourselves, because this is not pretty. For those of you who have been asking for a contract, the reason why we don't have one is because the MTA keeps offering us unacceptable garbage. Yesterday, they gave it to us in writing. Raises below the rate of inflation and abysmal givebacks. They want to raise healthcare contributions for current members by 50% and increase total healthcare costs for new members to 10%, driving yet another wedge between the current members and the new ones. They want to increase the charge for emergency room visits and play doctor with our current prescription plans, making it harder for you to get the medications you need. They want to strip pick rights for members who are on comp and link maintainer bonus payments to productivity targets. The list goes on. And speaking of maintenance, productivity, last night's story on Channel 7 shows that the MTA has been falsifying bus maintainer records and claiming the repairs have been made that never took place, endangering bus operators and the riding public. These are deceitful, diabolical people we're dealing with, and these draconian terms the MTA are demanding show that they are not serious about bargaining. But this is the game the MTA is choosing to play. Instead of engaging in real bargaining with us, they're riding with floats with our members at the Knicks parade, smiling and waving next to the same people they are trying to screw over. You should know that behind the scenes, this is the kind of contract Jan Oliba and Demetrius Critchlow think you deserve. And don't forget who's behind this whole plan. Governor Kathy Hochul, who has every ability to settle this contract under fair and equitable terms. And sadly, instead of bargaining in good faith, they are coming down on the members for undeserved discipline. So what I need everyone to do is to play by the rules. Don't give them an opportunity to discipline you. You can't be too careful. We are at war. Protect yourself and look out for each other. You are your brothers and sisters' keeper. More than ever, we need to stick together because together we move New York. God bless America and God bless the TWU. Thank you.
It's a lot to unpack there, but let me just say this, right? He said about the medical contribution. We TW100R Incorporated has been telling you actives, Primo was good, Springer was good. We have been telling you actives for almost 4 years now that they're going to start to come for your medical. That what they did to the retirees, if you don't know what they did to the retirees by now, listen, just go to the Facebook page, TW100R, and you'll hear all about it. But that what they did to the retirees was like a pilot program that they was going to come after your medical next. And sure enough, it's in writing now. They're going after your medical. Ron Springer said he need his boots. So I when I watched that video, I because the video's been going around online for a while, so a lot of people been saying how he looks like he's reading off like a prompter or something off the screen, which he is. I mean, I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for that because when you have something that important and with that length to it, you're not going to remember everything off the top of your head. So you may need, like bullet points or something. But a prompter is, it is what it is. But yeah, you see what he said? 50% and 10% to contribute to your medical. I love how he makes it seem like they're not responsible for switching you guys over to Medicare Advantage, which when he said about playing doctor was what he was referring to. Because with Medicare Advantage, you now have a middleman that's going to decide what's best for you, not your doctor. You know, it's not like now you go to your doctor. It's not like when you go to your doctor and your doctor says, "I need you to get this X-ray." You go get the X-ray. Now is I need you to go get this X-ray. Let's see if Aetna can improve it for you. And now you gotta wait. So I love the way they make it seem like that's not their fault. It is their fault. They the ones who put you guys into that. And so now they seeing how terrible it is, but yet none of them are willing to step up and say we fucked up. Let's go back to traditional Medicare. No, they're not going to say that. So you guys know what you have to do when it comes to election times, because they're never going to admit that they did wrong and then try to fix it. So, Springer says, how about we got Aetna? Do you really want to know? How about how we got Aetna? Yeah, because they fucked up. They're not gonna admit how they put you guys into that. So they making it seem like now it's MTA just going after. No, it's them too. They're the ones that are responsible for that. Yeah, look at this. Let's not forget he's one of the officers that implemented MA for. See what I'm saying? They're acting like they don't know that they're the ones who did this. They didn't have to. They thought they'd save a few bucks here and there. Tried out a program and it's not working. Now they're trying to make it seem like it's all MTA's fault. It's not. They're the ones who did that. He kind of went from there all over the place. But here's the thing, right? What are they gonna do? What are you guys gonna do? What is MTA or the officials gonna do? Yeah, right. Brian said someone wanted to save the TA money. Yeah, messing with the medical. You see everybody else. Matter of fact, where did I put it? Hold on. There was another union. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There was another union that just settled their contract, right? And they made sure that medical was on the up and up for them. Oh man, where did I put that? I might have. I lost it. All right, let me see. I forgot what it was. I mean, I know. Yeah, tell us, Ron. Tell us who it is. Let me see if I can find it because it's important. I might not have. Yeah. Damn it! I do this every time. It's something I want to talk about that's important, and then I forget to upload it. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm gonna read it. Oh, 11.99 SCIU just settled a contract. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna send it to you so you guys can see. Just give me a second. I'm gonna pull it up so you guys go. We're gonna go over that real quick. Just let me get it. Every Monday I do this dumb shit, right? So they just settled their contract, and in their contract it has some wording for medical. There we go. Just give me 1 second. It's coming, guys. There we go. I have to. I know. I should have. It's my fault, y'all. I should have ended this. A lot of this stuff shows unscripted, y'all. What can I tell you? So sometimes things like this happen. But yeah, here it is. I'm going to post it up right now. Here we go. So while you guys can see it on the screen, right, I'm going to look at it on my phone because I can't see that little shit. So if you look at on the right side in the purple area, you see where it says benefits, right? Protection of our gold standard, no cost health insurance with additional employer contributions of $800 million, guaranteeing their pension benefits and all small funds, training, upgraded job security, child, and additional $200 million. But you see what I'm saying? Protection of their gold standard, no cost health insurance with an additional $800 million. That's in what they won. That's the SEE, right? SEIU, part of New York Healthcare. That's what they got. That's what they got. Meanwhile, Transit is giving you the short end of the stick with this Medicare Advantage. And it's just fucked up because you would think they would want parity with everybody else, right? No, they don't care. They don't care, bro. Why would they hand you that bullshit contract? You see what they trying to give you? They didn't even like what you have right now. They want to take all that away. This is comical almost. And then now it's like, do you guys, I'm asking you, this is not me telling you, this is me asking you, do you guys feel comfortable with the elected officials now handling this contract? Do you have your faith in them? How good is your faith in them? Right? And now I'm going to ask this other question is, what if you guys decide to go on strike? Right? What if you guys decide to go on strike? Do you guys believe like the Long Island Railroad and those other unions will back you guys up like you guys backed them up? I mean, they're not even speaking of strike. This is all hypothetical. I haven't heard, unless you guys know something I don't, right? If you guys know something that I don't know, but I haven't heard anything about strike. So last time I heard, people think that you can't strike, that they're afraid to strike because of the Taylor Law. Taylor Law was there when we struck in 2005. That didn't stop us. We had to pay for it, but that didn't stop us, right? I don't know if you have enough backing to pull off a good strike. Where's the rallies at? Is anybody doing a rally for this? And I'm speaking about as far as the union, anybody from a union? Anybody? Or is it going to have to be somebody else outside of the union again to pull off a rally or something? GW says, the international president already said he told the MTA strike is off the table. You just pulled away. Bro, I would love to play poker with them. You just gave away the main card. Like, you just gave away your main bargaining chip, a strike. If you're telling them a strike is off the table, why would you tell them that? So if he told them that, obviously he had to have told them that before they exposed their demands. So why not just go for the jugular then? They're not gonna. You guys not gonna strike. Let's get what we can. They seem to be scared. They seem to be scared. They think you guys are scared, so they're not even trying to offer you anything of substance. They want to take back everything. Now, I don't know. You guys, I'm upset and I'm on the outside looking in. So you guys should be fuming. The ones that care, because there's a lot of people in there right now that just don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. They do their job and they go straight the fuck home after that. They don't care anything about the politics that's going on, knowing that it's going to affect them either way, which is sad. Because a union together, you guys can have everything. You see firsthand what a strong union can get. You see what the LIRR got, right? You see what the SE, 11 SE, whatever the hell they are, just got for theirs. Why do you guys end up with the short end of the stick? Why? The actors need to be more involved. You have to. You have to be more involved. You have to vote the right people in. You have to vote people in that know the job, that know negotiations, that are going to fight for you. You can't just vote people in because you know them and they're friendly. You can't. You got to vote the right person in. And this is why I'm gonna keep saying it, man. Go to your depot chair or your elected official and make sure that your information with them is correct. Your address and everything like that. That's right. Money and productivity. That's all they care. That's all they care about, Ron. Right. Make sure your information is up to date. Make sure your dues are up to date, because you're going to need that to be correct when it comes time to vote. Right. Right. And no real leaders, no balls. This is what it is. Now you see, and this is just an observation that I had with watching Chiarello's video, right? Near the end, he was getting more and more aggressive, more hype, right? But and this is just me. You could tell me how you feel about it, but I feel like that wasn't authentic. That was him acting like he's getting angry. I just didn't feel that it was real. I don't know. It could be me that I don't know him like that, but I think I'm a pretty good judge in character, and it just seemed staged, you could say. Staged aggression. It didn't really feel like he was getting angry because of what MTA was putting forth for you guys. But again, understand that this is negotiation, so you got to start somewhere. Why not start at the very low, at the very bottom, right? And then work your way up. But still, that aggression that he had at the end seemed manufactured, seems made up, didn't seem authentic to me. You can have a different opinion, and I would love to hear it, and why, because that's what I feel about it. TW says, yeah, exactly. Go with your gut. And I learned the lesson like that, always to go with my gut. TW $100 says, active members, nobody's coming to save you. You need to get involved. You do. You do. And there are plenty of people that are out there that are willing to do the work. They are willing to step forward and say, listen, let me handle this. And they are very much capable. During this show, I have met a lot of folks who are gunning for union positions, and I gotta say, it's not just the passion that they're passionate about going for the union position, which is always a plus. You want somebody who's passionate about that job because it's a thankless job, but are very knowledgeable also and are very capable of leading the union in a better path for the future. But nobody wants to vote. So they're campaigning and stuff like that, and nobody wants to vote. Or they really just they're willing to stay with the status quo, and that's it. Like whatever. The incumbents, leave them in. Coffee, coffee, coffee. And I just think that's a shame. I really do. Mm. Avy said it. It had to go with the script. Yeah, he had to go with the script he was reading. Yeah, I know. I got that, but when even when you reading a script, because I'm pretty sure that was of course it was typed up ahead of time, and he had a chance to go over it to make sure that he's following along. But that doesn't change your feelings about things, right? If you're genuinely angry about it would come across, right? The saying is real, recognize real, and that wasn't real to me. That wasn't real. But then again, I don't know. I don't know him, so I don't know if that's his baseline anger. You know what I mean? Or if he's just trumping it up. So I just didn't feel genuine to me. So, you guys, you let me know what you think, because it just wasn't working for me, buddy. Uh, I wouldn't quit his day job if he's looking for anything in acting. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt, which I always do. I always give all of them the benefit of the doubt, and they do the right thing. At least, at the very least, I'm gonna say this. At the very least, the direction that he's going in is I mean, as far as being angry, is the right direction. You should be angry. I would hope it'd be a little bit more genuine than that, but at least he's going in the right direction. What happens from that point on, we'll have to see, because it ain't looking good, y'all. What up? What up, Jose? My man, Jose. Yeah, what's good? He calls me Boo Still. Well, everything's good. Yes, smoking mirrors, my brother. Yes, smoking mirrors. That's what they do, bro. And we have to do a better job of weeding that out and not accepting that. As active members, you should demand that they cut the bullshit. Call a spade a spade. Don't be listen. A lot of things don't get done because people. I'm sorry. I always do this, man. A lot of things don't get done because people are afraid of the backlash from the union. Fuck that. They work for you. Hold on. Let me rewind that. Fuck that. They work for you. And if you don't like what they're doing, you let them know. You give them a chance to change their ways, because you have the power of the pen, and it's always looming over their head. Get them the fuck out of there if they ain't doing what you want to do. Exactly. Fake as fuck. Yeah, you can't have that. You can't. If we could spot the fakeness coming from them, what's going to happen at the negotiating table, right? That's who you want sitting at the table negotiating for you. If you could spot the fakeness from a mile away, I wouldn't think so. Would you? I wouldn't think. I don't want that motherfucker sitting at the table for me. You know. And I would hate to say this, but I would. Hold on. Let me see. Hold on. Before I get into what I'm about to say, this appointed TW president has been there with, I believe, Saracen and Utano, Davis, etc., etc. So he should have the upper hand as to what these previous presidents have done. Yes, they all should. Everybody should have knowledge of what the previous president have done. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Springer. That's the line. Ron Springer says, "No, what they say is we're for the members." What members? What members you talking about? Because it ain't it ain't it ain't the active members unless you're talking about the elected members. Even then, they going after their own, right? They're going after their own. If you step out of line and you disagree with them, they go after you. What the fuck is that? That has to stop. You can't lead other members when the members that are on your team you're fighting with. Members see leaders fighting amongst each other, they're not going to follow y'all. There has to be a united front. If one of your members, and I'm speaking on as far as elected unions are concerned, elected officials, if you're part of the elected official, if you got elected into office and you're button heads with other elected members, you handle that behind the scenes. You don't let that get out. Right? What up? What up? Fizz was good. You handle that shit behind the scenes. You don't let your constituents see you fighting with another elected member. Because now they're like, what the hell's going on? Why would I follow them? They can't even get their shit together. They can't get their house in order, so why would I follow them? Right? Meanwhile, you have the MTA management sitting back with their popcorn. Loving it. Just loving it. And it's crazy because it doesn't have to be like that. Not all MTA management is 100% against union workers. Right? You have some management that used to be union workers and never forgot where they come from. So they're more in tune with the active workers than, let's say, somebody they hired off the street, whose only job is to make sure what management doing is right. When you have a manager that came from the sticks, from the ground up, he's more in tune with what your needs are, and he's more inclined to favor towards that, right? Because he's been there, so he knows how it feels to feel fucked up, right? So you would think, right? But I don't know. It's just crazy. Staying united members first have to go, no matter what. We as members have to stop playing fucking games and do something. Action speaks louder than words. Absolutely. Election time. Election time. Let the power of the pen speak. Who's running against who? And who's going to do the best job? Remember, it's not about who's the most popular. It's not about who's your friend. It's about who can do the job. And this is why I've always said, and I said this to a couple of people, Whitaker, Robert Whitaker. Robert Whitaker is a body of knowledge when it comes to union business, right? That man knows a lot when it comes to union business. That man has studied, he's taken classes to learn and be an effective union official. Nobody wants to vote for him because he's not popular. He's not a popular. He's a nice person when you meet him and you talk to him, but he doesn't give off a people vibe, right? So they won't elect him, which is crazy. Yeah, that behind the scenes shit is old school, and they don't do that anymore. I know, and that's what's fucked up. That's fucked up because everything's out in the open now, and it's just terrible. It's the same way like we used to not talk about politics, right? Politics and religion used to be off the table when it came to conversations because how divisive that can be. And so now that politics, everybody's speaking on politics, the fucking country is divided because it's no longer acceptable that you may like the other side. Now you're an enemy. Huh? You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Yep. So that's what they need to do. Need to clean it up. Clean it all up, top to bottom. Let's get them out. Let's get some new blood in there. But we need candidates that know what they're doing and have a passion for what they're doing. TW has no leverage for this current contract negotiations. Exactly. They gave our leverage away when they said strike is off the table. What the fuck you doing? So in turn, they come out with this news report of how MTA is falsifying documents or buses. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to get to that in a minute. Right? Which I thought was crazy. But, you could question the motivation on the timing of all this stuff, especially during contract negotiations. But it's crazy. So let's, matter of fact, excuse me. Let me tee that up for you guys real quick. What are we doing? It's the falsification of contract negotiations. Falsification of contract. What am I talking about? Falsification of maintenance records, right? So, yeah, I was just where's my thingy? There we go. Here we go. And this is what Jose was talking about. Nobody worked these hours. TW accuses MTA of falsifying bus maintenance records. So I'm gonna have to switch my screens because I cannot see this on my laptop. I mean, I can go look at my TV, but then I'll be looking that way. So let me just hold on. Pick it up right here. All right, so here we go. Let me just make sure. Hey, did I switch it? Nope. There we go. Check it out. Let's read along together. This is from WABC, right? New York City and depots across the city, surprise inspections by the transit union are turning up problems in the MTA enormous fleet of buses, according to TW Local 100 President John Chiarello. All types of issues from cracked windshields to signals and signal lights that may be out, headlights that may be out, issues inside the bus, you name it, he said. At this point, we don't trust the Metropolitan Transit Authority. Chiarello says buses are often hitting the streets with documented maintenance and safety issues. He says some SIA MTA managers are logging into the system and clearing out open work orders, falsely claiming that repairs were completed. Union bus maintenance directors Mike Wren and Tom Lenane claimed that repairs are often falsely attributed to employees who weren't even at work and provided multiple work orders and maintenance records from the Kingsbridge Depot in the Bronx. Damn, they singled out Kingsbridge. Shout out to Kingsbridge. Sorry, guys. Nobody worked these hours. Nobody did these jobs, said Wren. That is ridiculous. All right, let me switch over. Let me switch over to the second part here. What's that say? Eyewitness News, yep. Hold on. Did it switch? Did I switch it? Let me just make sure. Yep, I did. All right. Sorry about that. Here we go. Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett asked about a work order for 54 items done by a guy who was on his day off. What up, what up, what up, Vermont? Says, correct, that wasn't even on the property, said Lenine. He's a really super mechanic. He could do it from home. One worker was credited with taking more than 100 oil and fluid samples when he, too, was off. And another worker on a personal day was credited for multiple repairs, including 2 with red line holes. Now, red line holes are important because red lines means those buses get knocked out of service immediately. They don't go out. So when you falsifying a red line hole, you not only putting the operator in danger, you putting the riding public in danger, and you putting the public in danger. In other words, the people on the bus and the people out and around your bus are in danger with these red line holes that they're falsifying. Well, allegedly, right? Anything involving tires, steering brakes, that's a hold. That bus can't go out in service. It's not safe, said Wren. But if he worked, the order is cleared. But if the work, what I said. But if the work order is cleared, right? Oh, I gotta switch it up now. Hold on a second. Let me get my glasses out. But if the work order is cleared, that's where we at, right? Well, then apparently it didn't happen. So MTA officials dismissed the allegations as bogus while downplaying safety concerns, claiming that every bus is inspected for serious maintenance issues. There's no surge in bus malfunctions, Communications Director Tim Minton told Eyewitness News. There is, however, a recent spike in bogus complaints from union officials just in time for labor negotiations. Now, so it's kind of a quagmire here, right? On one hand, you got the union claiming that this is happening. On the other hand, you got the MTA denying. 6-7, right? 6-7. Who do you believe? Who do you trust? I kind of feel like I'm not sure, but if an accident happens during one of these, they're gonna have all the proof they need. But union officials say they raised these concerns more than 2 years ago, that the practice is widespread and that nothing has changed. It's at least 2 years that Tom and I have been arguing, trying to put a stop to this, and it seems like it's only gotten more brazen, said Wren. It's crazy, right? Well, we got a little bit more. One or two more to go. Yeah, it's the last one. Let's finish this off. So City College professor, emeritus. Robert Passwell is a former president of the Chicago Transit Authority. If somebody says this has to be fixed or that has to be fixed, you just can't say it was fixed if it wasn't fixed, he said, right? So union leaders say the MTA bus depots are understaffed and that managers are trying to do more with less, or at least making it look that way. They can't keep up with the work that's being not done, said Wren. Work that's not being completed. So what they're doing is just making it go away. Yeah, but that's not how you do it, right? You don't just make it go away, because by doing what they're doing with that, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're kicking the can down the road, and something terrible is going to happen. What up, Whitaker? I was just talking about you. You're going to live a long time, my brother. Yeah, right? That I just, yeah. Say his name and he shows up. Well, and never sued and taken to court. Yeah, I mean, why not? That was my next question. If MTA is doing this, right, and the union has proof of this, why can't they take them to court for that? Why not? They don't want to fight. It's just, again, union ain't looking too strong, y'all. This is not good, as they say. So according to this, our 10-minute pre-trip, which I was told in training, the pre-trip should take about 18 minutes, but I digress. That was decades ago. The 10-minute pre-trip is worthless because if we spot a defect or something else, we report to the yard dispatcher. Wait, what am I doing? They contact the foreman. Yeah, right. If you report a defect, you write it on an OVCR card, put it back in the bus, you take it, you go back to the dispatcher, take the bus out of service. Well, he's supposed to take it. You report it, you get another bus, and you go about your way. Dispatch is supposed to take it out of service, call maintenance, have maintenance come pick it up, and then they take care of it, and then put it back on the line once the problem is fixed. The problem is that's not what's happening. And I've heard it from people before where they say, okay, we spotted a problem, we took it, we went back to the dispatcher. Dispatcher gave me another bus, but gave that bus to somebody else just before I left. So the bus goes out because you got people who just don't follow the rules. They don't care, right? So they go out with a defective bus. And it's just ridiculous that that's happening that way. You guys are your worst enemies sometimes. What up, Cologne? What up, ABM? So, Jose said, yeah. Then they give us their pass number and say the bus is good to go out of service before safety. Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's just, nah. Sometimes you just got to stand 10 toes down. Don't take the bus out, right? Again, recording the OVCR car. If you have to take a picture for your own personal record, get off the bus, take a picture, because you don't want them saying, oh, you had your camera out. You know what I mean? You don't want them coming down with some bullshit on you, but or make a copy of what you what the defect is somehow, and keep a record. Keep a record in your locker. Anything you do that you have to write down, you put it, like when you put it on your trip sheet, you write down what you put on the OVCR card. You make a copy and you keep it in your locker when you hand it in, so you have an official record of what the defect is that you handed in and you reported it, and you keep it in your locker. So when they try to say some bullshit, you have the receipts. So yeah, what's good, ABA? So yeah, guys. I mean, I don't know. You guys have to tell me what you think about the Chiarello's post there, his video. I don't know. This is like, so it's a bad spot to be in. Okay, but this is where your depot chairman comes into play. But in our case, they are not in the yard, and it's not just you guys. There's a lot of other depots that are saying the same thing. That the depot chair is nowhere to be found, which is crazy. Like they should be out there inspecting those buses, making sure those buses are going out clean, not with any kind of defect or anything like that, and knocking the buses down. You guys should have, they should have your backs when you knocking these buses down. They should be around, right? That way they dispatchers can't give you lip. Let them take that over. You just need a clean bus, a bus that's working 100%. Pass that over to your depot chair or your elected official. I think is that at this point in time with so many with that report coming out and so many defects that are showing up, regardless of the timing of it, that the depot's chair, if he can't do it himself, should appoint somebody to act as his eyes and ears in the yard. Give it to somebody definitely trustworthy, but maybe you could make that as part of a job for somebody who's been pulled off the bus for whatever reason, that they're not allowed to go on the bus, right? That they've restricted. Then all right, then appoint them as your liaison to make sure that buses are going out in 100% working order, right? And if there's anything that happens, he just calls up, hey, listen, we got this bus. We may need you down here, right? Just to keep an eye on things, because the depot chair has a lot to do. He can't be everywhere at once, so you could appoint somebody as your liaison, and especially if they're on restricted work, where they can't drive the bus for whatever reason. Maybe Mac knocked them down for whatever reason. They got to be off the bus until they could prove they could drive again. Then you assign one of them. Hey, you my liaison for this shift and this shift, right? So I don't know. That could be a plan, but you guys got a fight coming to you. We told you, TW100 Inc. told you that they were coming for your medical, and trust me, when things go bad with your medical, it's gonna go really bad. So if you're healthy, you're just fine. You're healthy, you're gonna be just fine. But if you get into an accident, you start to get sick, or somebody in your family start to get sick, you're gonna start to see the troubles that you're gonna be having with this Aetna Medicare Advantage bullshit. So, right. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, speaking of has to go through management, yeah, okay, so go through management. The point is to get it out there. You know, I don't. I mean, it depends on who the manager is in the depot. We had some great managers at Gleason, and we had some asshole managers. So if you this is why you can't you can't be mad at your depot chairman for having a relationship with management, because there's certain things that you just have to be cordial about, right? You don't have to be, you know, going to baseball games or bowling and all that shit, but just to have a cordial relationship, because there's certain things that you have to work out and you have to be cordial about it. So this is one of those situations where you could go and be like, listen, we having this big surge of problems, and I can't really stand down there all day by myself. I have other things to do. So I would like to appoint such and such right now as my liaison, just to keep and watch on things. And if he agrees to it, then okay. If he doesn't, then fuck him. you know. But bring it up. At least you try. You try to get ahead of the problems. And if he's serious about the job, about making sure that his depot is not in any accidents, then I don't see why he would be against it. Especially if it's somebody that's being restricted from driving a bus, you know, let them do that work. That's something that should be a no-brainer, but you just never know nowadays with this, right? Uh, so we also, listen, you guys can keep that conversation going, because I need to move on, because we did had a really bad accident on the 4 train, where a tree had went through went through the cabin of the number 4 train. This is crazy. Now, we're gonna read the article. Hold on. Hmm. This is the article here from what happened that day. I believe this was on the 4th, right? If I'm not mistaken. Why did it change? I hate when it does that. I just had it on the right freaking article. Goddamn. All right. So let's read along. Let's do this read along. Miracle on the 4th of July, as America celebrated its 250th birthday yesterday. It wasn't yesterday, but with fireworks and cookout, a terrifying scene unfolded on the Bronx subway line. A Woodlawn-bound 4 train was making the final leg of its journey. It always happens on your last run. From Utica Avenue, last night approaching, it wasn't last night, but July 4th. Last night, approaching 161st Street Yankee Stadium on an elevated structure at around 8:30 p.m. At some point, while the train was navigating the grades between 149th Grand Concourse and 161st, a large tree fell across the northbound tracks. Despite the train operator making every effort to stop the train in time, it made impact with the fallen tree, shooting a massive timber through the train operator's vision glass, shattering it to pieces. The train the train operator, bloodied by scratches from the wood and broken glass, miraculously survived. Yo, that's crazy. Traumatized from the shocking ordeal, she was taken to a local hospital and has since been discharged. There were no reported injuries among the nearly 200 passengers on board who were safely evacuated onto a rescue train. According to the train operator, the protruding log came within a couple of inches of her face, describing it as a freak accident. The train operator said if she had moved her body at all during the impact, the outcome would have been a different story. President John V. Chiarello spoke to the train operator this morning, calling her a hero and noting these are unforeseen dangers our members face in the line of duty. 1 minute you're operating the train, and within seconds you're confronted with a life or death situation. If not for this member's wherewithal, and calmness, what happened last night could have easily been a tragedy. So, a round of applause. Let's give us hearts out for the operator. I'm glad she's okay. Um, like he said, 1 minute you're doing your job, and the next thing you know, you're facing a life and death situation, and that's what's crazy. So before I go, listen, I appreciate you guys. Right before I go, I just want to make you guys aware of a situation that's happening uptown, and it's very important. So I'm going to share this with you guys. Hold on a second. Let me fix it up for y'all. How did I do this before? Okay. I was trying to figure out how I set it up before, because I have to reset it up for this one. All right, so if you're uptown, y'all still hear me, right? Nope. What the fuck just happened? Hello? Hello? Y'all hear me? It seemed like, let me just make sure. Hello? No, why? Hello? Hello? Testing. Oh, fuck. Y'all don't hear me, right? My mic just went. Hold on. My mic. Hello? 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 Okay. My mic should be working. Sorry about that. My mic just cut off, so I have to reset everything. Okay. So, you guys still hear me now, right? I know my mic had went off for a second. I don't know why I did that. It's telling me to get off. But here's what we're talking about. If you've been in Uptown at any point these last couple of days, uh, there is Here's what you need to know about the Legionnaire disease outbreak on the Upper East Side. So if you've been uptown in the last couple of days, you may want to get yourself checked out if you're having any symptoms. Cases of Legionnaire disease are mounting on the Upper East Side of Manhattan as the city health officials work to identify the source of the outbreak, which was first announced last week. So far, 18 people have been infected with the severe form of pneumonia across the zip code stretching from the Upper East Side to the East River. 10028, 10128, and 10075, according to the City Health Department. No deaths have been reported so far. So anyone who has visited the east side of Central Park between East 76th Street and East 97th Street should also monitor their symptoms out of an abundance of caution, the City Health Department said. City officials say the current cluster is likely linked to a miscontaminated with Legionella bacteria emanating from a water cooling tower in the area. City officials are in the process of testing cooling towers in the affected zip codes for the bacteria, and any towers that test positive will undergo remediation to remove the bacteria, according to the health department. So I will leave the link to that in the description. I didn't even share that. I just read it out to you. Sorry about that. I will leave the link to that in the description so you can read the article for yourself. But listen, if you've been uptown, anywhere near that, if you're starting to feel a little something, get yourself checked out. And that's I'm going to end it there because it's already an hour. And we've been going on. So I appreciate everybody who was watching, who come to the end of the show. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here, and I greatly appreciate that. I'm humbled by it. And so with that, I will say that is the end. And fuck them if they can't take a joke. Later, guys. Peace. See you next week.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.